Hey Odyssey, today we're going to talk about finding the volume of solids, but we're going to kind of look at it now as mathematically using a formula to find it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk a little bit about actually putting measurement to this. So we've been saying things like this is 16 cubic units or this is 20 cubic units. But today we're going to actually give it a unit. So I have this cube here. You guys have seen these before. And we would say that this is 1 centimeter cubed. And what that means is that the side here is 1 centimeter. This side is 1 centimeter. This edge is 1 centimeter. And so everything on this cube measures 1 centimeter. So we would say that this is 1 centimeter cubed. And this is how we write it. So this is what 1 centimeter cubed would look like, okay? It's the same thing as cubic units, except now we know the unit. We know it's centimeters, okay? Our next one is we have this, and if we look at this, and we would say that this is 1 inch, each edge is 1 inch, we would say that this would be 1 inch cubed. So we say the word cubed when we see that 3. And that just means that there are 3 dimensions, which we're going to talk about, okay? We can also, I don't have a foot cube, but we can also say something is 1 foot cubed if it measures, every edge measures 1 foot. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about the formula of finding volume. So right now you guys have just been counting cubes and you've been looking at, for example, I'm going to put this one here. So you've kind of been looking at the base, the top of it, and then finding out how many layers are on it. Well, today we're going to talk about the formula for that, which means I take my length and my width and my height and I put it all together to find my volume. So if I look at this and I'm looking at this shape, how we would normally look is we would look at a side. So I can see right here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes going across. So this would be 4 inches cubed going across. So I can see that my length is 4. Okay, and we would actually say that this is 4 inches because I'm not finding the volume yet. I'm just finding the length. So if I was to measure this across, this would be 4 inches. So that's going to be my length. My width would mean going this way. So I have 1, 2 cubes, so we would say my width is 2 inches. All right, and then that's actually the area of our figure. So that would be 1 layer. And if I looked at a 4 by 2, I would have 8, and right here I have 8 squares. But to give it dimension and to make it a 3D figure and give it volume, we have to look at the height. So the height, if I look up, I see 1, 2 layers. So the layers are what gives it height. So I would say I have 2 inches in my layer, okay? And again, this is if I would measure 4, measure 2, and then measure up 2. That's going to give me my dimensions. So you'll notice I have 3 dimensions, 1, 2, 3. So my formula for finding volume is to take these dimensions and put them together. So I'm going to take my length times my width times my height, and that's going to give me my volume, okay? So if I look here, my length is 4, so I'm going to do 4 here. My width is 2, so I'm going to put a 2 here. And my height was 2 inches. So I'm going to put a 2 here. If I put this all together, this is going to equal my volume. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So my volume here is 16. I'm not going to write cubic units because I know the unit. I know the unit is inches, so I'm going to say my answer is 16 inches cubed because I'm dealing with volume. Okay? All right. So if I had another figure, so I'm going to put this figure here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at my length, I'm going to look at my width, and I'm going to look at my height. So I'm just going to erase my stuff here. I'm going to leave my units because I know that I'm using these cubes, and each of these cubes are an inch, a cubic inch.